So I want to start my message now, and I want to take you back to a day in history. July 28, 1990. I know this day because it's on the inside of my wedding ring. July 28, 1990. So this past year, we had some time off, and we did what's known as Swedish death cleaning. We're told it's called Swedish death cleaning. We didn't know that, but the idea is you start cleaning things out so that your kids don't have to throw them away when you die. And so we started going through some stuff. And I came across VHS tapes and 8mm videotapes, including some that were filmed on July 28th, 1990, my wedding day. And so we got them converted over. They're no longer unbelievers. They're believers. That these tapes have been converted. And I remembered at our wedding, because it was all about us, because it was our wedding. And we loved a certain song called Exalt His Name Together, written by Jack Hayford, a Church of the Foursquare pastor out of California. It had like 4 or 5 long verses. It's extremely lengthy, theologically rich hymn. And so we thought it'd be a great idea to start our wedding with that song. I'll finish that story in a little bit. And I'll tell you why we've never sung it here, and we never will. I'll finish that story in about 5 minutes. This series that we're in, talking about this is who we are. What kind of church would my church be? Rhythm's a little lacking, but that's pretty good, though. That's pretty good. What kind of church would my church be? This is for the guests, people just showing up. If everyone in my church was just like me. Yeah. We want to be the future and create future and not just fear the future. Our vision is how we carry out mission. The mission for every church is the same, Great Commission, Great Commandment. But vision is how we actually do it, and we exist to be a church that's for all people. You even heard Pastor Kelvin mention that a little bit. If they're a person, we're for them. If it's a you on the other side of you, we're for them. We're not against them, because Jesus doesn't hate anybody. We disagree with things, and we fight against things, but we don't fight against people. We're trying to be a church for those that think church is against them. And so we've been going through this series of core values. The why do we do this? Well, we're for our people. That's why, because Jesus was for all people. That's why we do this. But when we talk about our core values, we're not there yet on the screen yet, but we'll get there. When we talk about our core values are the how we get there. How do we get to where we're going, our core values? So in this series so far we've looked at, am I able to get to my first one or no? Well, can I click through, Caleb, or no? Not yet? Okay, couldn't tell. We value desperation. Right now I'm desperate for my technology to work. I'm pretty desperate for that. Only because it's distracting, and I'm super easy to be distracted. As stupid Austin Boughton did to me yesterday, as I'm there simply serving children coming to my door, handing candy out, he slips along the side and scares the bejeebers out of me. Do not tell me, oh, doesn't Austin love Jesus so much? I don't want to hear it today. But we value desperation. Why? Because nothing's going to stop God. Apart from Jesus, we can do nothing. With him, nothing is impossible. Therefore, we'll stop at nothing to see all people deeply connected to him. And we value belonging because found people find people. Belonging is the beginning of believing and becoming. And that's why we're creating a church for the people we're inviting. And if you're not a believer, I hope you want to see us actually accomplish these goals that we're after, because your world would be better. So if you're following along in your notes, I wouldn't follow along on the screens right now, but if you're following along in your notes, we value ownership. I'm sorry, I clicked it by accident. I'm going to take it out of my hand. We value ownership. Ownership. We are owners, not members. Owners, not members. Now, some of you have membership. You have membership in miscellaneous places. That's just awkward, isn't it? But this is who we are, right? I'm glad we can handle it and laugh with it. Think about where you have memberships. How many of you have a membership at a club called Sam's? Yep. How many of you have a membership at a place called Amazon Prime? Yes, it brings you such needed things in your house. How many of you have a membership at a gym like Planet Fitness? How many of you actually go there? But we have memberships, right? We have memberships. Caleb, do I just need to turn this off? It's just more distracting right now than anything, bud. Thank you. Let's see if I can figure it out. At least this one I can turn off. There we go. So when you think about memberships, I would ask us, do we talk, when we think about being here, do we talk like members or owners? Now, I'm not taking membership literally like official church membership. I'm not talking about ownership like your name's on the deed for owning the church building. But what concerns a member or an employee or a customer about a business? If you go to a business, say you go to a restaurant today, what are you concerned about? You're probably concerned about your preferences. Do they have food that I like? Do they make it in a way that I like it made? Do they have prices that I like? Is the environment to sit down decent or is it good? You probably have those concerns. That's what concerns the member, the employee, the customer. What concerns an owner about that business? Come on, we got a lot of business owners in the room. What concerns the owner? Everything concerns the owner. What doesn't the owner have concern about? The member, the customer that walks in, whose experience matters to the member? Theirs does. How long did I have to wait for a table? Was the table clean when I got there? Was the food hot? If we're a member, we're concerned about everything about our experience. If you're the owner, whose experience matters? Everyone's. The person who comes in and could buy your restaurant by writing a check and it not even impacting their account, to the person that can barely afford to eat there that day. Everyone's experience matters. If you're the owner, whose experience does not matter? Yours. Yours. Let me take you back to July 28, 1990. There's a reason we have never sung Exalt His Name together here. It's got 4 to 5 verses. They're crazy lengthy. No one else knows the song. A YouTube, actually an entire internet search, only it comes up one stinking time, and it's a horrendous version. I wouldn't even play it for you. I can't stand it. I hate it that much. I love the song passionately. It's excellent. And as I watched that video of our wedding, at one point, the guy up there, a friend of ours, is leading this song, and he had never sung it before. And this is how he's leading the song. The camera is back here panning everyone, which we asked them to do, so that way we could see everyone that was at our wedding. Panning. Nobody is singing the song. They're all holding the hymnal religiously, though, because they'd never heard it. Who loved that song? I did! Sarah was buried back in some bride room. She couldn't even hear it. Why? Because it was a self-focused day. Why don't we sing it here? It's my favorite song. I'm in charge. Because I don't want to act like a member. I want to act like an owner. And if I'm acting like an owner, my experience is the one that doesn't matter. What matters is not that we sing a song that I like, that has theology in it that I studied and I totally grasp and get and understand the depth perhaps behind it. It's way more important that the visitor that you brought that's been coming only 3 times, we're not singing songs that make no sense to them. Members have privileges. Next in your notes, I'll just clue you in. Members have privileges, owners have responsibilities. What's your responsibility here? What is your responsibility here? Rhetorical question, don't shout out. I'm not trying to trip anybody up. What could God do through you if you had responsibility here? If you feel like you belong here, I'm almost could guarantee you probably have responsibility here. And if you're going, I don't really feel like I'm connected here, is there anything you're responsible for here? Is there any role that you play, no matter how small you might think that it is, that you're actually dependent upon for? And that's one of the things I'm so stinking proud of our church for, is so many here. The hardest event that we do is team night, when we put on team night. Because one of the things we invite the most number of people to, we invite anybody and everyone that serves in any way on a regular basis. Not just once a year, I'll serve for an hour at Fall Fest, but they're committed. They'll say, you can schedule me, I will show up, I will serve. So many here. But what about the person that says, I don't want to be an owner, I just want to be an attender? Who in any family has no responsibility? If the church really isn't a building you go to, but a family you belong to, who in a family has no responsibility? Let me tell you who. The extremely aged. They're so old, we don't call them old, we call them aged. Isn't that a weird word? But there are some people that, no, they're 97. They don't have to help with dishes on Thanksgiving. They're free. They're free. Who else doesn't have any responsibility? The extremely young. 2, maybe 3. At age 5, can they have some responsibility? They can make sure the dog's got water. And the extremely disabled, to not allow the partially disabled to have responsibility is disrespectful to them. So what privileges do you enjoy here at M1? Kidmin? Youth? Young adults? I don't really like the church a whole lot. I just like young adults. I don't like the church a whole lot. I just like youth. I don't really get into the church too much. I just like the groups. I just like the worship. Or I just like the teaching. Or I just like being able to invite people that I invite like to come. Or I just like the foundational stuff. I just like the belonging. All that is all together. It all comes together. There's nothing you've ever received from any local church in your entire life that wasn't provided to you by someone who treats the place like an owner and not a member. Never. The chair you're sitting in, the carpet your feet are on, the concrete the carpet is on, and the land that was bought by people that used to meet in the building next to the Dairy Queen by the hospital. And they've all been buried. I wasn't done! Al, you didn't give any money to that building. You were 2 years old. Did you give any money to? Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. So let me take you to one of the best passages on ownership in the scripture. I won't be able to show it to you. Do I have screens? Caleb, am I live? All right, take me to the Matthew 25 passage, please, so I don't have to, thank you. All right. Tech problems are no fun. It's like a goalie making a mistake. It wasn't really his fault, but it happens. Can we thank our tech team today? All right, this is the best passage on ownership that I can find. This isn't soft, fuzzy Jesus. This is the real Jesus. He's telling a story. Verse 14. Hey, this is what the kingdom of God is going to be like. It's going to be like a man that goes on a journey. He called his servants and entrusted his property to them. To one, he gave 5 talents of money. Consider a talent like a bag of money or a large amount. To another, 2 talents, and to another, 1 talent, each according to his ability. Then he went on his journey. Yeah. The man who had received 5 talents went at once and put his money to work and gained 5 more. So also the one with 2 talents gained 2 more. But the man who had received 1 talent went off and dug a hole in the ground and hid his master's money. Boo. After a long time, the master of those servants returned and settled accounts. The man who had received 5 brought the other 5. Master, you entrusted me with 5. See, I've gained 5 more. The master replied, well done, good and faithful servant. You've been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness. He continues. The man with 2 talents also came. Master, you entrusted me with 2. See, I've gained 2 more. His master replied, well done, good and faithful servant. You've been faithful with a few things. I'll put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness. And then the mood changes. Then the man who had received the 1 talent said, Master, I knew you were a hard man, and he brought complaints. Harvesting where you have not sown and gathering where you have not scattered seed. So I was fearful, I was afraid, and I went out and I hid your talent in the ground. See, here's what belongs to you. I wonder if he at least cleaned the dirt off from it. His master replied, you wicked, lazy servant. So you knew where I harvest, where I have not sown, and gather where I have not scattered seed? Well, then you should have put my money on deposit with the bankers so that when I returned, I would have received it back with interest. And then it gets even more awkward. Take the talent from him and give it to the one who has 10. What? Well, if you go to the passage in Luke, someone actually interrupts Jesus and says, hey, wait, he's already got 10. But we'll stay in the passage in Matthew right now. For everyone who has will be given more and will have an abundance. And whoever does not have, even what he has will be taken from him. And then nice fuzzy Jesus says, and throw that worthless servant outside into the darkness where there'll be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Just a couple simple observations, but first we'll finish this part of the core value. We're owners, not members. Members have privileges, owners have responsibilities. Therefore, we will steward what God has given us so stinking well. Stinking's not in there. So well, it would benefit Him to trust us with more. A couple observations. It doesn't seem like anyone in that passage had a choice whether they wanted to be an owner or not. They weren't allowed to opt out. Two people acted in faith and responsibility and put it to work. It's amazing how opportunity looks like work. One person responded in fear and hid. According to the passage, owners who don't steward, which is a more powerful word for manage, owners who don't steward well lose what they have. And owners who do steward well can expect to be rewarded. Expect to be rewarded. Stewardship, it's the first command in the scripture, actually, Genesis chapter 1. I'll paraphrase. Yo, here's the earth, take care of it. And that's Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, right in there. That we would steward it well. Stewardship is active, it's not passive. It's not burying something in the ground. It's not just hoarding. It's putting it to work. We steward, and we want to be a church that stewards as if we are accountable before God, and we are. And we want to be a church that stewards in a way as if we'll be rewarded, because we will be. Do we want to avoid waste? We want to avoid waste, but we don't want to be paralyzed by fear that we might possibly make a mistake. We will eventually. So here's the question. Why should God trust M1 with more? More what? Anything. Why should He trust us with more of anything if we're not being good stewards of what He's already given us? But what if we handle what He has given us already so well, not that it would benefit us for Him to trust us with more, but that it would benefit Him in His choice and His will to trust us with more, whether that is resources, influence, or more tomorrows. We will be owners, not members. We'll put it to work and not hide it in the ground. We value ownership. Will you read that top part with me, just out loud together? Ready? Ownership. We are owners, not members. One more time, if you don't mind. Ownership. We are owners, not members. Yeah. Moving on. I've got to do two of them today because I'm running out of calendar. Christmas is coming. Anybody feel that? Christmas is coming? So we're going to hit two core values today. The next one, and it kind of corresponds, is excellence. Excellence. We bring our best. We bring our best. So I want to ask you a question. For some of you, you won't be able to answer this, like Al can't answer this, I'm sure. But most of you will be able to answer this. Do you remember the very first Sunday that you came to church here? Think about it for a second. Do you remember the very first Sunday? Now, if you came when you were 2 years old, that's why I think it's going to be hard for some. But for most of us, you do. How many of you remember your very first Sunday that you came to church here? Can I see your hands up? Yeah. Would you be able to tell me where you sat? Yeah. Now, if you came to church here all the time and always have since you were little, you may not remember that, but anyone who visited over the age of maybe 12, they remember exactly where they sat. So here's the question. Rhetorical, don't shout out an answer. What detail on your first visit did not matter to you? There's probably no detail that did not matter to you. You know, some people say, Pastor, I just love your preaching. You can preach for an hour. I'd be okay with that. Wouldn't have been okay with them. Not that day. And not if you were the one that invited them. Yeah, we bring our best. That's crazy practical. That's how we serve. That's how we rehearse. We prepare. We did a funeral meal here yesterday in a funeral, and most everyone that attended will never attend this church on a regular basis because they're not even from around here. So we just did a half-hearted effort. No way. No way. Why? Our name is on it. His name is on it. Period. No options. There are no options. Whatever you do, Colossians chapter 3, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as if you're doing it for God, not for men, since you know that you'll receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward. There's that reward idea again. It's the Lord Christ you are serving. If you're an owner, excellence matters. If you're a member, preference matters. Now, I get the idea of some tension that comes with that. Pastor, we're a church. We don't want to be too just business-like. I get that. But may I push back for a moment? Why is it that business is held up as a good way for an organization to be run and church is not held up as a great way for an organization to be run? Why are not businesses coming to the church to learn how to do customer service and how to care for people and how to move vision forward? And instead of when a church does that, it's like we're copying business. Why isn't the church moving forward so well? Business wants to copy the church. Now, there's nothing wrong. I've heard some amazing news. Angels coming to town pretty soon. Angels are landing in Ontario. We're getting a Chick-fil-A, I heard. Did anybody else hear that? And I'm told that they have decent customer service there, right? They have amazing customer service. Why can't the church be so amazing at loving people and taking care of people that Chick-fil-A wants to get ideas from us? Oh, Pastor, it's just families showing up. We're not doing it right if only families showing up. Here, let's try this. It's Thanksgiving, and you have brought to the family dinner a potential spouse. Maybe you're widowed, maybe you're single again, or maybe in your early 20s, and you brought a potential spouse, and everyone's there, including Uncle Larry with his pet ferret in the corner. It's Uncle Larry, just ignore him. We only see him twice, it will be okay. Somebody comes out of the kitchen and says, hey, we're gonna be 15 minutes late with the food. What happens to the anxiety level in the room? Not much. Anybody else want some more tea? Now, let's say it's next Sunday, and you invited someone that's been telling you no for months. And we're just about ready to start. The timer's down to 0, and I come out and say, hey, we're going to start in about 15 minutes. Is that cool? If it's just family, it's cool. It's not just family. We're expecting company every Sunday. Expecting guests every Sunday. Excellence isn't extra. It's expected. Why? Heaven's our audience. Heaven is our audience. I don't claim to be original, and when I try to speak, I'll steal an idea from anyone, including people I disagree with. But I had an idea for a story and an illustration right here. Let's assume you have a friend. No, let's just believe you have a friend, right? You probably have a friend. I have one friend. Steve's right there. Let's assume you have a friend, and this friend hosts a weekly party. Every week, this friend of yours has a party. And the party has a purpose. It's to help people break free from addictions and bondage. And your friend comes up to you and says, hey, I'm leaving the country for a while. Would you host my party for me? And you're like, oh, man. You can host it at my house. Your friend says it, and your friend's got an amazing house. Has lots and lots of room. And you admire this friend, you love this friend has done so much for you, you literally owe this friend your life. And you remember when you first went to a party at this friend's house, and your friend says, will you host the party for me while I'm out of the country? So you go, yes, I will host the party for you at your house while you're out of the country. What level of excellence and effort are you going to give? How will you treat the house of your friend? How much effort are you going to give to the guests of the friend, even though the friend's not there and it's his house, it's not even your house? Would you talk about your friend like he's not there and it's not his home? Or would you serve your friend as if he was watching every single thing you were doing? Proverbs chapter 5, verse 21. A man's ways are in full view of the Lord. He sees everything. He sees everything. That's why we bring our best. That's why excellence is not an option. Therefore, we will exceed the expectations of those God sends to us, so they will feel seen through the details. Do you ever show up somewhere and you felt like nobody was expecting you? You ever show up and you say, yeah, Layman here for my appointment? You ever show up somewhere and you're like, oh, do we have the wrong day? Is it the wrong time? I knew it was daylight savings time. Did I do it wrong? And you ever show up somewhere where you could tell, man, they were expecting it. They thought of everything, which means they thought of me. They thought of everything. How much sloppiness does it take to turn you away? I just put a couple phrases together, and you tell me if this would turn you away. Flies, restaurant lobbies. Turn you away? Greasy theater chairs. 2 more. Sticky fast food bathroom floors. Whoever's ever cleaned those, you know why it's sticky. You used too much soap. You didn't rinse it good enough, honestly. Last one. Hair, hotel, shower drain. Apparently, it does not take much sloppiness to turn you away. But M1, we're not after perfection. It's unattainable. It's an unworthy goal. But we can be excellent with whatever we have to work with. We can bring our best. Jonas, former bookkeeper, he's still around about 1 day a week. They're waiting to sell their house and stuff. He has an amazing statement from a place he used to work, and we're trying to implement it. The place that he used to work, it was a Cherry Street Mission by Toledo, and he said this: we want to be highly efficient with stuff so we can be highly inefficient with people. Let's be so good at handling the stuff that when there's a people need, we can just pause and be inefficient and graceful and loving and generous with them. This past week, I think it was Tuesday, I saw someone cutting through the landscaping. There was a child. And then I heard a knock over at the door. They must not have been here before. They didn't know there was actually a button they could press. All the doors were locked during the week because of a kids' academy on site. And I opened the door, and there's this kid there with a McDonald's bag and says, hey, I don't feel safe. Can I come in? Well, yeah, you can. So we start talking. We've been highly efficient with stuff, so we got time to take time with this guy named Caden. He had no shoes on. Heard a story. I'm not sure how much of it was truthful. Some of it probably was, but I'm confident that the tears that were dropping from his eyes were truthful. Our business is people. It's a business, sure. Other businesses are trying to make profit off of people. What are we trying to do? Get people connected to Jesus. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Our tools, relationships, communication, facilities, resources, so that someone who's a guest today, when they head back to their car and they're driving off this property, if there were any negatives, there were ones that we couldn't avoid. There wasn't negatives that we were lazy with, or we were slack with, or we didn't think were important. The way I want to put it is, we want to move every single obstacle except the cross. I'm not moving that obstacle. That's an obstacle for everyone to have to submit to and bow before. We're not moving the cross. Any other obstacle that gets in the way is probably negotiable. And we want to make sure that when they head back to their car, the cross is the only stumbling block. So where do we attempt to exceed those expectations? Well, what detail doesn't matter to you the first time you showed up? We're trying to do all that. We don't always hit it every time. That's where we're aimed, though. Some of you have been gracious, and you just continue to smile every time we talk about on-ramp because you went through it 3 years ago, and you know that announcement's not for you. It's for those that someone else invited. New here, stop here. How many of you actually think you could probably get up with 2 minutes' notice and give half those announcements? You could probably do half of them, couldn't you? And then you're going to talk about new here, stop here. You're going to talk about connection card. Yep. We're going to do our best to start on time. It's going to be cleaner than needed. We're not going to have any throwaway Sundays. There's a Sunday coming up. It's going to be between Christmas and New Year's. It's not a throwaway Sunday. There's going to be a guest there that day. We can't we'll just bring our B game that day. There's no option. There's no option. I think about Patricia Strickler. She comes in every Thursday to make sure that when you walk in the sanctuary, no matter what chair you sit in, unless you're in the front row, of course, that the envelopes, pens, everything's there, ready. What if there was just, someone left their cup from last week in the chair you sat in? How would that be cool with you? That we just ignored it because it's no big deal? No. That's Patricia Strickler every Thursday. If you drove onto the property, you probably did not find any trash. But did you notice that we're next to a McDonald's and a gas station? And it's windy sometimes? There's trash all over the stinking place on Sunday morning. But not once Michael Barbley gets here and walks through the parking lot, and sometimes Roberto as well. Even the entryways, we try and blow them off before you get here. Our transformation team trying to make things look good. Our deep clean team that was here on Thursday. There's Arvin. Arvin, just a shade under 200 years old, running the rug doctor. Running the rug doctor in the big gym because we had an event in there and somebody spilled something on the carpet. That's all right. We have a deep clean team for that. I mean, is it really necessary to have mints, body spray, and mouthwash in the bathrooms? Necessary? No. If you're single, maybe so. Maybe so. Necessary? No. That's why we're going to exceed the expectations of those God sends to us so they can feel seen. There's nothing fancy. I don't think there's anything fancy around here. Nothing luxurious. Care, concern, Christ is our audience. I'm going to ask the worship team to come. We'll walk through these real quick again. We value desperation because nothing's going to stop him. Will you just read the top two lines with me? Will you do that with me out loud? Here we go. Desperation, nothing will stop him. Belonging, found people find people. Ownership, we are owners, not members. Excellence. Sorry, I was slow. I was fast on the clicker, or slow on the clicker and fast on my words. Excellence, we bring our best. Our best friend has given us his house to hold a party every week. It's an open house party every Sunday. It's an open house. Anybody can come. And he lets us use his house as a party every week to invite all of his missing family members so they can come home and be set free. And we do it in full view of him. Everything is in full view of him. So dream with me. What would it look like to walk to the altar to pray with someone that you invited? What would it look like this year, Thanksgiving Sunday, that when they're getting baptized and one of the pastors asks them, is there anyone instrumental in your coming to Christ that you'd like to be the one to baptize you? And they call you. And they ask you, and then you call me. Can I do that? Is that allowed? And then you're up there baptizing them. Yeah, what kind of church would my church be if the whole church were just like me? Stand with me, would you?